Welcome back to another edition of Real Boring Flips. I'm Kevin, your host, and gosh, it's been another bit of time since the last episode. Things are changing around here. I'm got some great news coming out, but just stay with us. We're trying to get this thing rolling. We've had one thing after another, but feels like we're on a good path now. We've had some great sales in the month of September, so I'm excited to show you those. We're actually a little bit later now, and so I've got some great sales coming up after this video. But just wanted to say thank you again for sticking around with us and hoping to kind of do a little bit more footage, live footage. But for the time being, we're going to go over things that sold, talk a little bit about why I bought them in the first place, what I paid for them, and then ultimately what I made selling them. Just so you know, the way we work this channel is I call it the value for value model. Hopefully I'm giving you some value, and in return you give me value by watching the videos, liking, subscribing, sharing videos, maybe telling friends that you know that might be interested in watching these videos to come join us. And so thank you for that. We're going to jump over to the other desk here in a minute, and we'll run through all the sales from the month of September, and then we'll hop back over here to kind of end up the video, talk about a little things that we're doing coming up. But I know you're not here just for all that. I know why you come here in the first place.
Oh, please, Kevin, tell us what you're enjoying.
And what you come here for is to see what I'm enjoying. And today what I'm enjoying is some V8 pomegranate blueberry energy drink. I could really use some energy. It's been a couple of late nights, and we're going to give this a shot. I don't think you're supposed to shake this. It does have caffeine, so that's great. I had one that I didn't shake. I was supposed to shake, and I didn't shake, and it kind of made it terrible. I'm not shaking this one. That's got a nice flavor to it. Some people really don't like pomegranate, but it's got a great taste. It's the world's worst thing to try to peel, but excellent. Okay, we're going to jump over, run through those sales, and then meet me back over here when we're done there. So first up on the list is this Nikon camera lens. This was an odd pickup, but I'm glad I grabbed it. This came at a Value Village, and one of the ways they sell stuff is they put it in a bag, and so they have a rack on the wall where you can look at bagged items, and like they'll have toys, dolls, and then electronics. And so I do, when I'm at that store, I do look through the electronics, and I found this lens in a bag for $10. I saw that it was Nikon. It looked in good physical condition. Obviously no way to really test it without the camera, but I picked it up and listed it, and it did take a while, but eventually, yes, I got my asking price of $80, or to be completely honest, $79.88. Typically all my listings end in 88 cents, so I'm just going to say $80 for ease of voiceover. The next item was do not buy this ever again. Years early on, I was at a garage sale, and this guy was obviously selling off his mom's belongings. The one thing that was cool about these dolls, I bought several dolls for about $5 or $6 a piece, was each doll had been carefully documented. So this woman made payments, sent in checks for every payment, and she documented every payment made until the final payment was made and the doll was received. And I can't imagine how much money was spent, because she had lots of them. I only bought 6 of them. I can't imagine how much money went into dolls, but she carefully, kept care of all of them. I'm just trying to get rid of these at this point. I've got a couple more. I think only 2 of them really, looking at them, are valuable. Valuable meaning more than what I got here, which was $11. Valuable meaning like one is a Martha Washington, and I can't remember the other one, but they were an actual historic figure. This was just Sarah baby doll. So don't buy these. Do not buy dolls to sell, to resell. If you want to collect them, collect them. This VHS tape, I bought two Pokemon clamshell VHS tapes. Both of them had the Pokemon stickers, the glow-in-the-dark stickers, which was kind of cool. I paid $1 for each tape. I think, and since that time I got another one. I think the third one doesn't have the stickers, but I still got a 10X, even though it's a small 10X. It's still a 10X. So I only paid $1 for the tape. This Corning, it's a Corning, can't even, culinaria bake around. So you would bake bread in these glass tubes, which I thought was kind of cool. It was complete, had the tubes, had the rack, had the instructions, the recipe book. Really cool. I got it for $2. I sold it for 11. Don't buy this kind of stuff. I thought about making the bread though. I thought about trying that since I've been baking bread on bread machines that I've been buying. Here's another, I think this was the second of the two Vitamix blender pitchers that I got at the free rummage sale. I think I sold the other one last month. This one I sold for $70. It was brand new. I mean, these are almost always quick sells, and so anytime I see Vitamix pitchers like this, especially brand new condition, and I can get them for pennies, I'm going to scoop them up. More of my military war game strategy magazines. This was a set of Command magazines, 15 magazines, and I took an offer at $60. These magazines have just been killer for me. I think I'm over $1,000 now in profit on magazines, and I still have a bunch to go. And I got some more recently, so not quite the stack that I got the first go around, but I did get some more. Here's another juicer part. This is Mueller. I've sold some Mueller parts before. You've probably heard me talk about them, but in general, I do Jack LaLanne. I do Mueller is not a brand that sells as much, but they do sell. So I'll get the Mueller. I'll do several. I stay away from the Breville just because they just don't seem to sell parts very well. This Sony radio was killer. I paid $100, $105 for it when I originally bought it, but it was killer, nice condition, awesome in the box. This was a recent box that I rediscovered. It had several vintage shortwave radios in it, and so I've been selling those off. I think this might have been the last one out of the box, but this one sold at my list price of $350. I mean, you cannot beat flips like that. I love those. Here's a thing I don't buy anymore unless they're brand new or in new condition in a box. These are the Bose companion speakers. This was just one. I don't even know where I got this. I must have gotten it for pennies at a rummage sale or something, but I sold it for $10. Better than a sharp stick in the eye. I've sold a couple of these Lego sets. I sold a Darth Vader set like this, and now this Luke Skywalker set. This one was sealed. I got it at Goodwill. I had to pay I think $10 for it, which is, oh no, I paid $8 for it, which is ridiculous in my mind. But still got 29. Took an offer at 29, and it sold pretty quickly. So happy with that. This juicer, yeah, I guess it is a juicer, Acme juicer. I got two of these. I got one at a recent estate sale that was $6, and then I got one marked down on discount at my Goodwill. And I think I paid $1.50. I can't remember. They do $1.50 or $1.79, some crazy number under $2. I've sold one. I think this was the one I got at the $6 sale. I got the other one still to go. But I don't typically do these just because juicers don't sell, but these are really nice. These are like a Supreme, actually they're called Supreme juicer Raider, heavy duty, like much heavier duty than what you see in the normal like Jack LaLanne type of juicer. Here's a Ninja. This is the top of a bowl for a food processor bowl for a Ninja blender motor, if that makes sense. I think I got this with a motor. I sold the motor, I sold the bowl, and now here's the lid with the pusher. It's actually a 2-in-1 pusher. That's how you make money on this stuff. You split everything up. I could have split this thing up into three pieces, but I just chose to do it all in one for $25. And when I'm paying just not very much at all to start, it's definitely worth it. I got this Arlo Smart Hub at Goodwill, and I gotta see how much I paid. I paid $8 for it, but I knew I'd sold Arlo stuff before, and this was a unique deal. This was a Arlo base station, so I thought it would sell. I did get 25 bucks for it. I probably could have got more. I took an offer. I felt like, for my $8, as fast as I could sell it, it was a good flip. Okay, just announcing if you don't know, but when you look at all these cranium games that you see, all the different variations, this is the only, actually there's two of these, two different versions of this, but there's Cranium Caribou is the only version you should be buying. Don't buy any of the other stuff. Don't even look at the other stuff. Even if it's brand new, don't look at it. Just Cranium Caribou. Now this is the Magical Island, and I got this at the free rummage sale, so pennies in for this one, and it was complete. Everything worked, had all the special stuff. I've sold the other version of Caribou, which is also great. I think it's even better than this. I took an offer at 51. It sold fast, and I was happy since I had basically less than $1 into it. So Cranium Caribou, none of the other craniums. Here's another Mueller pusher. So I think I had a couple of those and sold them both this month. I have a bunch of these. I need to get my act together and start listing all of my doublers, my DVD, VHS combo units. This is a player, not a recorder. I mean, the DVD part doesn't record, so not as desirable. But like what I do, like this one, I have the remote, or I get a remote if I can get it cheaply enough. Sometimes these have replacement remotes, which aren't terrible, but I think in this case I had the actual remote. I put cables, I put a sealed blank VHS tape. If this was a DVD recorder, I'd have some blank DVDs to go with it. But you put all that stuff in there, and that adds value. Yours looks better than the other one that doesn't have the remote, doesn't have the cables, doesn't have the tape. And this one sold, once I relisted this one recently, and it sold pretty quickly for my $100 list price. I probably paid up to $20 for this if I bought it at a Goodwill. If I bought it at a garage sale, I would have paid less. These vibration pads, so these go to a telescope. Now I got these at the free rummage sale, donation sale. There was a telescope there, and a gentleman grabbed it, which was fine. It wasn't one I would want to resell. And it looked like it didn't have any of the eyepieces or anything. So he just grabbed the telescope and walked off. Well, I looked in the box that was on the floor next to where the telescope was, and it had this box of feet, vibration pads. It had the eyepieces. And so I ended up with the eyepieces and the feet. So I haven't sold the eyepieces yet. I haven't tried to sell the eyepieces yet, but I did sell these pretty quickly for $30, pennies into them. So here's a funny item. So I sell a lot of remotes. I used to sell a lot more, but then my Goodwill, the guy that prices things went insane, and they changed all the prices on remotes from $1.99 to $4.99. And now there's just a huge pile of remotes that they periodically just throw them all out and start over because no one buys them. I'll buy an occasional remote. I used to buy a lot more. So this one I did pay. I don't know if I got this one at Goodwill or not. I've had several of these, but I did get $15 for it. But the buyer messaged me a little while after receiving it, and if I can get the message, I'll put it up. But basically, he said, "Hey, it's not working. Curious what you're going to do about it." And so, even though obviously, as a buyer, he's like, "Hey, this isn't working. Now I'm screwed." He did message me, so I appreciated that. And what I told him was, sometimes when you have remotes like this, and even if you put new batteries in them, maybe in the past they had some battery issues. I don't remember if this one did or not. I usually clean all that up if it did, but I tested it, so I know it worked. But I just told him, put batteries in it and just roll them back and forth with your hand, just back and forth. He never messaged me back. He didn't do a return request, so clearly that fixed his issue. So I was glad to be able to be given the chance to provide customer service. Typically, you just get an immediate negative feedback. Terrible seller, don't trust. And in this case, I was able to deal with it, so I was happy for that. I love these Coleman lanterns, these white gas lanterns. I don't mess with the propane ones; those are ridiculous. But I do get these white gas lanterns when I can, and if they're modern and they're in good shape, like this one, brand new in the box. I only paid. I'll tell you, it's crazy. I paid $7 for this one, and that was with tax. Even though I'll get the tax back, it was only $7, and it was in brand new condition. I sold it relatively quickly for $50. Like a day after I bought this one, they had another one come out. The box was completely just pummeled to death. They wanted 16 or I think 16, 15 or $16 for it. It just wasn't worth it at that point. But I love getting this stuff. It's often overlooked. So here's a Shelby Eleanor. So if you remember the Eleanor car from the movie Eleanor. Actually, I don't even remember what the movie was called, but it was Eleanor. It is what it is. Oh no, actually, boy, somehow I got that one cheap. I only paid $6 for that one. I only paid $6 for it, so that was good. What I was going to mention was I got neutral feedback for this, and anytime you see like your feedback pop up and it's different, or in this case it was obvious I had a neutral, you go look and okay, what did I do? Did I mismark it? Did I misidentify it? No, everything was perfect on the actual sale. He just decided he didn't like the car very much. That's so frustrating for me. I really wish that people who buy on eBay could understand the difference between, hey, I bought something I wanted, but then I decided I wasn't happy with it, buying it, is much different than, hey, I got terrible service buying this thing I really wanted. It doesn't affect you. A neutral doesn't affect you, but I wish people would think about how they're doing ratings when they do them. Not just eBay, but any of these places where you rate your experience. Just it would help. I think it would help people if they understood how that works, how that affects sellers especially. This item was a sad ending. I shipped it all the way to, gosh, somewhere in Europe, maybe Eastern Europe. I can't remember the exact country, but might have been one of the stands even. It was a vintage My Little Pony set, sealed. I got my list price of $35. Off it went. It got all the way to that country, to the location, and then disappeared. Now I don't know if it ever actually arrived after the fact, but my buyer ended up filing hey, it didn't show up, and eBay paid them off. I'm always curious about how that works. I seem to. It feels like it'd be very easy if you were a buyer in like a international buyer as far as the U.S. is concerned, to just get your item for free. You just, hey, didn't like it, wasn't happy with it. Here you go, free. I wish eBay may need to figure out a different method. I love these Axis and Allies games. I look at them every time. Some of them aren't great. Some of them are. In this case, this one was new inside. Everything was sealed inside the box. And so I was able to pick it up. I paid $8.72 after tax. So obviously at $8, before tax. And I got my asking price of $50. I would do this every day if this kind of stuff came out, if I was able to get this stuff every day. Even though it's a little bit of a hassle. Games are always a hassle to figure out, did I get all the parts? Are all the parts here? That kind of stuff I would take every day. This Master Builder set, I almost bought this for the lone reason that my son, while he was waiting to start to move to Georgia and start law school, he was working for a company locally here called the Master Builder Association. So when I saw this, I thought of him. No comps. I did find another Haba Master Builder set, different one that sold. So I thought it would possibly be okay. Trying to see if I even recorded this one, but I paid $10 for it. It was sealed. I was surprised. I took an offer at 60. I think I had it listed at 80 or something, but I got an offer for 60. That was good enough for me. So sometimes you should shy away from stuff like this. In this case, this was sealed. It was $6, and the comps were okay enough that I felt like it was worth getting. I took an offer at 25 and was happy with it. My buyer was happy with it. So stuff like this, I always identify. Hey, it's brand new. There's a battery inside. The battery may not be good. And that's how I described it. And they actually said, I think in their feedback, they said the battery was actually working. So good for them. Okay, small keyboards. I always check these things. This one, I paid more for it because I knew it was a good one. I paid $30 for it at Goodwill, but it was nice condition and it was a nice version, and it sold pretty quickly for $130, which was my asking price. I love looking at this stuff. It's also often overlooked. So pet safe, a lot of safe stuff is good. I look for those for the collars, like this set. These sets have the dog collars, wireless dog collars. I just look for the dog collars a lot of times, but in this case, this was a brand new open box wireless set, and let's see, I think I paid $25 for it. It was worth it. I took an offer at 130. I'd do that every day too if I could find them. I had a bunch of cameras, and I finally was like, okay, I got to do something about these cameras. So I got this one listed. It sold pretty quickly. This was a chin-on, not the best, but it was sold it pretty quickly. I paid way too much for it, though. I don't know why I paid so much for it. I guess I thought maybe it was worth more. I moved it along. I paid $15 for it. I moved it along for 30. I sell these pretty often. These Logitech TrackMan mice. They're not all the best, but when I'm getting them for usually $5 or $6, they're good enough. And so I kind of have a stock of these, and I took an offer at 35 on these. I'd do these every day too if I just had that, because they turn over quickly enough. Here's another item that came from the free rummage sale. This was a it can actually no. This might have come from an actual garage sale. Now that I think about it, this is in the box. Space Maker can opener. So this was like the Sony cabinet stereo that I sold last month, that you saw in my last month's video. The we must have just had things hanging from our kitchen cabinets left and right, because this can opener would have been mounted to the bottom of your kitchen cabinets, your hanging cabinets. But these were cool. I would have only paid just bare minimum on this, maybe $1 or $2, and it was in nice enough shape. I did take an offer at 25 just to get it moved along. This small soldier slam fist character, it just was loose on the rack, but it did have the ball that's in his one hand. I thought I would have got more for this. I just was like, okay, that's good enough. I paid $6 for it. I'll take 20. That's fine. Not something I normally buy. And I really trying to stay away from stuff like that. Actually, it's just I have too much inventory as it is. I don't need a bunch of that kind of stuff. Another thing I don't need a bunch of is golf clubs. I love them and I hate them. This one I got long ago. Actually, I gave it to my son. He used it for a while, and then when he moved to go to Georgia, he gave me this back, and so I listed it. It wasn't worth a ton. I only paid a couple of dollars at Goodwill originally for it for him, but I got that back and some more. I got $19 for it. And again, all of my listings are plus shipping. I hardly ever have anything that's called with free shipping. And there's a reason for that. I might have a listing later on where I talk about this, but a lot of people do free shipping and then they don't sell to Alaska or Hawaii. And I think that's a big mistake. I sell a lot of stuff to both of those states because I have calculated shipping. So if you don't even list or offer your items for sale, those buyers don't even have the chance to buy your stuff. And so I would always, and I encourage people to use calculated shipping. Just do your best at calculating it. and I never pay extra. I mean, hardly ever do I mismanage my shipping calculation. So I guess the end result is, you're able to sell stuff to more people who want to buy your stuff if you manage your listings in that way. This game, for some reason, I've been buying a lot of board games. You've been seeing a lot of board games, and that's good. This game, let's see if I can figure out what there. I gotta look through my list here. What was that game called? Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, I paid $8 for this game. I got my list price of $60. I love that kind of turn. That's perfect. If I'm and a lot of times Goodwill will price this kind of game up like double that, and then other times it'll be the right price. I think $8 was the right price for this game. So happy with that. Okay, if I can figure out my tally, I'll put up a image of where we're at. We bought a new refrigerator to replace our old refrigerator that we had repaired under warranty, but then immediately out of warranty it died. So I've been selling parts of that refrigerator to try to pay for the new refrigerator, and I think I'm pretty sure I was over $300. I had sold a door handle that was returned. I got negative feedback over it, disappointing. But I've got some more parts of the fridge that I need to list, so hopefully I can get this number cranked up and moving in the right direction. But this was just a small gasket for one of the small doors. But still, $10 is $10. Now, you might be wondering, hey, aren't you going to be paying income tax on these items you sell? No, because the price that I paid for this item is always going to be more than I received because I bought the fridge originally. So no, I won't be paying any tax on any of the fridge parts. Okay, this is like the perfect camera to get if you're looking for cameras to resell. And to be honest, I did not look at these heavily early on in my actual reselling business. I've been selling on eBay for over 25 years, but I really only in the last 5 years have I really committed to establishing a reselling business. But these are great cameras. This one, let's see, what did I pay for this guy? I paid $20 for this camera, and I think I had the charger. So the camera had a battery, I had the charger and the case and an SD card to go with it. I went my $20 purchase resulted in a $250 sale. That's awesome. I love that stuff. Now I just got another one of these exact cameras in black, so I just listed that one, but I listed that one a little bit higher because it seems like the prices are a little better now. Okay, this subwoofer I've shipped around a few times. So if you if you saw my channel, there's actually a short that talks about this subwoofer. I sold one before to a buyer a few years ago that I'd gotten, and then I got this other one. I got this one at a rummage sale, not the free rummage sale, but a different rummage sale. And I did not pay much for it. I think I paid like maybe $6, something ridiculously cheap. And it was basically new condition. Still had the stickers on it that said here's the volume knob. I sold this to a buyer in Florida, shipped it all the way to him, and then he said it doesn't work, and that he was a audiophile expert and it didn't work. And if you look on the short, when he shipped it back, I plugged it in and turned the volume up, and it worked. I had told him there was a volume knob and to adjust the volume, and he said it doesn't work. I'm an audiophile expert. So, my cost for this item went up because I had to pay to ship it back. But originally I only paid $6 for it, so I still got some money out of it, and it was really a nice subwoofer. I mean, it's painful when stuff like that happens. I wished I could have gotten a more of a chance to provide customer service on that initial purchase. This is an item that I would love to just keep because I love like cool technology like this. It's just a small projector, and it had super low hours, 15 hours on it. I had it for a long time. It came from that year, a couple of years ago actually, but it came from the free rummage sale. I took an offer at $36, and it went to a military base, and the eBay buyers part of the name was Intel. So all I could think was, oh, it's some kind of spy group. But maybe they needed to show some of their spy work projected on the wall. Who knows? $36, pennies into it. Okay, here's another item you need to keep an eye out for. I got this Brinsea Ovation 28 egg incubator. I paid some good money for it, but let's see. I paid $14 for this item. Actually, I think it was $13 before tax. It didn't, so it normally would have 28 egg spaces, but in this case, the egg trays had been swapped out for goose eggs or large eggs. So it didn't have, so I ended up pricing it down because of that. I thought maybe the value would be less. It sold pretty quickly at my list price of $250, and I was happy with that. I also wasn't exactly sure how I needed to test it. So it appeared to work, and I guess it did work because they were happy with it. Look out for those. I have a small Brinsea incubator that I think holds like 9 eggs. I haven't sold that one yet. I'm probably a little high on the price, but these big incubator trays are great. Brinsea, the best. I have another one listed right now. It's not Brinsea, that I'm not asking $250 for. I'm asking like $100 for. But those are good things to get. Here's another cordless phone. You hear me talk about these all the time, but cordless handsets, I just don't bother trying to sell the whole thing. Just sell the handsets and the charging base. Very rarely will I try to sell an entire set. I took an offer at $25 for this. Red background alert. This is an old listing back when I used red backgrounds. Back when I used my son's baby blanket. So the story on this was it was in with another Lego set that I bought late in the day at a garage sale. So somehow this Lego set made it through the entire day without being bought for $10. This was just parts inside the box. I took an offer at $30. The Lego set that I sold was Anton's Fishing Village, and it was a retired set at the time, complete with the instructions, no box. And I sold that set within days for $400. So it was like a new beginning for me on, okay, I got to get serious on Legos. And so I've tried to do that. I typically am not buying new sealed Lego sets, but I'm scouring for bits and pieces. You've heard me talk about just my two neighbors right out here where I live, one on one side, one on the other, where I bought for $10 at one and $30 at the other. I ended up with significant parts and the minifigures to the Black Pearl and one of the other Pirates of the Caribbean Lego sets. Crazy, like probably $1,500 worth of Legos between the two purchases. So yeah, I keep an eye out for that stuff. This is an announcement. This is the very first lids off loose that I've ever sold. I sold one that was in the box. This is the first time I've sold one loose. I don't buy these anymore. I probably paid $8 for this one, and I sold it for $13. So somehow, I think Flipping Junk. I think Wick from Flipping Junk convinced me that I should buy these. I don't buy these anymore. I shouldn't have bought these either. This was a bag that I got at Goodwill of Harry Potter figures. What I didn't realize is that one was missing its boots, one was missing something else. The three of them didn't have their jackets. I just didn't. It didn't put two and two together that it wasn't a good purchase because I think I paid $20 for this maybe. So no, I paid $15 for it. So I made a couple of dollars, but basically didn't make anything. Okay, I started selling, like a lot of people, I sell these TI-84 calculators, and I used to have them listed at like $50, and they would sit forever, and I get crazy offers, and it would just be there forever. And then I priced one at 44.88 and it sold immediately. Every time I list one, I listed at 44.88, it sells immediately. This one went to a repeat buyer. I don't know these companies, what they do with them, how they're making money, but I don't really care because I'm probably paying $10 at the most. I don't pay any more than $10 for these, but I get them and they sell immediately. So I will keep doing that. So here's here's another cordless phone. This one sold at 9.90, so that was before I switched to 88 cents on my pricing. Um, that one pennies into it just like the other cordless handsets. I didn't have a charger, so I just listed it at 9.90. This troll doll, this was awesome. I found two of these. This is the first one I sold. Just loose. I was thinking, I just found a $500 troll doll, but not really. They're not really worth that much. No clothes, a little bit, the hair was a little bit falling out and stuff. So I had it listed for like $150, and then I put it on sale at some point, and this one sold immediately on sale. So I'll probably put the other one on sale here. It had different color eyes and different color hair, so I don't know which was more desired, but when you pay $10 for a troll doll and it sells for almost $100, that's worth it. Here's a Motown sealed DVD music set from Motown. I paid $2 at a garage sale, and I got my 27.88 on this, so I was happy. Here's a what is this? Oh, this was a parallel port zip drive. So probably the least desirable of all the zip drive formats. I finally it came in a box of other stuff, so I didn't really pay anything for it. I was happy to take 15. This hand mixer, came with a Vitamix that I bought and sold at good profit. And so this just was, well, I guess I'll try and sell it. Eventually, I knocked the price down to 14.88 and made the shipping good enough, and it sold. Buyer was happy with it. Here's another thing that just came in a box with other stuff. When you buy a whole box of camera stuff, sometimes you're going to get other stuff with it. This is a small manual. I listed that. Eventually, it sold for $7, so I was happy with that because I really didn't pay anything for that. Okay, we're getting down to the end here. This dip tube, I've sold this exact dip tube set before for good money. This one was in terrible condition. The foam padding in the box had like disintegrated and damaged the dip tube meter. So much so that I didn't know it was worth anything. I got it for free, and I still listed it for like $50 just to see what would happen. And I got an offer at 25 and I took it. So yay me, I didn't pay anything for it, so $25 is better than nothing. Okay, I think this is the first of two sets of four of these Culver gold mushroom glasses. These are kind of a bolo. I paid $90 for the set of 8, and I split these into two sets. I think I may have taken an offer on this first set. We'll see if I have a sold in the next month. I can't remember where it is. I've sold them both now. But these are great. I've sold the highball glasses. I sold a set of highball glasses, 6, previously. But these are like, they're so hard to find. I was glad that I found this oddball estate sale company that had these, and I was able to get the set cheap enough that it was worth it. I mean, for what I paid, I'm almost $100 in profit on just half of them, so about $200 in profit altogether. Okay, and the last item was another. So this is the much preferred doubler. This is a Panasonic DVD recorder VHS VCR. And I, again, have the remote, I have the cables, I have a sealed VHS tape, and I have some blank DVDs to go with it. Way better way to package these for sale. So I advise you to do that if you're selling this kind of stuff. And obviously test it thoroughly too. And I got my list price of $209.88, which is happy for me because I don't know how much I actually paid for this particular one, but typically I'm paying $20 to $30 for this setup. So awesome sales. And we're back. A great month. Really looking forward to building as we go. I mean, this time of the year is always the best time of the year for me, but I want to kind of springboard that into a great 2026. So we're doing everything we can to make that happen. This month was great. I'm always amazed at just the things that sell, especially things that I have that I've had listed for quite a while, and just all of a sudden they sell. I love that. My store, my kind of setup is I have a little bit of everything outside of clothes and shoes. I typically don't sell clothes and shoes, but I like the reach that we have with the types of things we sell. I like the pursuit of those things. I like the everyday things that we sell as well. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate your patience with us as we try to work towards a more regular video issue schedule. I'm looking forward to that as we get into retirement, and looking forward to getting through all the stuff that we have piled up here. The inventory is out of control, but we're progressing through that, and hopefully we'll be able to weed this down as we go along. So thank you again for joining us, and as I always say, join me again next time. You can't beat a good pomegranate drink. You just can't.
Well, that's everything that sold at Real Boring Flips. Thanks for stopping by, you all.